Hello everybody and welcome to Grandos, and in today's video I'm talking about the new allegations against MrBeast. Dogpack just released a new video with some insane claims about MrBeast, and in this video he interviews a former employee named Jake Weddle. And the claims that are made in this video are absolutely insane. James Weddle was an employee from 2019 to 2020. He also popped back in for another video in 2021, and he says that he was there for like the transition between like genuine YouTube content and genuine YouTube videos to something more like a company, and he was featured in multiple MrBeast videos. First thing I want to talk about is how he'd fake videos. Now, if you watched my previous videos on MrBeast, you already know how he'd fake videos, but Jake has more of a behind-the-scenes input on these faked videos. Basically, there was this video where MrBeast was smashing his friends' cars with a rock without telling them and buying them a new one. This was literally all fake except for the car smashing. They knew their cars were getting smashed. Jake even had to tell his mom to act shocked on the phone when his car got smashed. Literally all of it was staged. That isn't really that severe of a claim, but I feel like it was necessary to mention. Now onto the more serious claims that were made. In one of my videos before, I talked about how MrBeast has mistreated contestants and how terrible it is in the MrBeast games. In Dogpack's video, Jake speaks up about how he was mistreated in the MrBeast videos. In Dogpack's video, Jake speaks up about how he was mistreated in MrBeast videos. Jake says that anybody who pleased MrBeast and didn't go against him was favored by him and got more screen time, while people who had disagreed with him wouldn't really get as much attention or screen time. Weddle would also be cut out of videos because his character was really unique and he had a strong personality, so they would cut him out to, I guess, eliminate any way of attention being taken away from Jimmy. MrBeast also asked his employees not to try and create their own social media career to keep them from gaining popularity and speaking about what goes on behind the scenes to a large audience. And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the mistreatment. In 2021, Jake was the star of a video that was never released because it went so terribly. It was one of those solitary confinement videos. In this video, he was challenged to stay for 30 days, and if he did, he would win $300,000. They put a bunch of entertaining things in this room, and as the days go on, he'd have to remove some things from the room until he was eventually left with nothing near the end of the challenge. And there were some downsides to these entertaining things. For example, there was a hot tub and an ice cream machine in the room. The hot tub was without a filter, so eventually after a few days it would start stinking up the room. And as for the ice cream machine, it was very hard to live with since it was either on making a loud whirring noise or off with a bunch of melted dairy smelling up the room. It was a lose-lose situation. And on top of all of this, Jake was being sleep deprived. He asked them if he could turn the lights off so he could get some sleep, but they denied this because they needed time-lapse footage. This actually happens to be a war crime. This literally goes against the Geneva Convention. Although technically it doesn't really break any law since Jake isn't a literal prisoner and has the choice to leave, but it's still like messed up, and I think this should be illegal. They ended up giving him melatonin as a substitute to try and help him fall asleep instead of just turning off the lights and not having the whole thing time-lapsed. Now Jake actually did end up leaving the challenge eventually because of his mental and physical health. And I'll just let him tell you how Jimmy responded to that.
You know when you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he like touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just, I didn't have to pretend to do that shit. Yeah, you know, your mental health's the most important thing. You know, just wanna make sure you're okay. And last thing we want you to do is, I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before I got out. I did not get the 300K, but I got. He goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You know, you were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, you know, 100,000 some change, you know, give or take.
Now after this challenge, Jake was talking to some people, and Jake gave these screenshots to Dawson, and I'll just read them out to you. His first screenshot says, "How you feeling after a few days?" Jake responds with, "Better. I still couldn't sleep even after a few days out, but I almost had my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on BetterHelp. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on these things. And to be honest, it's absolutely insane to need therapy after a silly little YouTube challenge. Or it's supposed to be a silly little YouTube challenge." This next screenshot says, "Hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check on you." Jake responds with, "Hey, I'm good. and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit. I'm back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better. Like I can walk, but my feet are still covered in those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is to stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Rayleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They are giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also like a slap in the face, but hey, I'm out, I'm alive. They respond with, therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you ever need anyone to talk to, if you need a place to crash in New York. The fact that these conversations are even happening because of a YouTube challenge is insane. Absolutely insane. This next screenshot says, hope you're doing well, man. Dude, that video you uploaded a couple hours ago is money. So good. Obviously not relevant to this. Jake responds with, I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. And thanks. I was gonna upload that tomorrow, but a booker wanted to see a fresh tape, so I uploaded it early so they could see it. Lots of thinking, too much one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25 to 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like, even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less. And like, I'm not famous enough to burn a bridge, so at the end of the day, I'm still Jimmy's bitch. Like, if I was Carl and he did that to me, I'd ruin him. And they want to do it again. That could be your leverage if that guy breaks down also. 2 is better than 1. Yeah, right. I told them everything they did to me that they can't do again in order to make sure the other person doesn't break down as fast. But like, the way the video is meant to function is the problem. It's a bad idea, full stop. It sounds clickbaity, sounds right up Jimmy's alley, but it's morally unethical, like on every level. There just needs to be off-camera breaks. I mean, not just that, but there needs to be some sort of humanizing aspects. I'm just against it in general. The 10-day 4-person one, at least have 4 people that can talk to each other. Off-camera breaks, lights off at night, visitation, take the marathon out. Marathon is a video in itself. You can't expect someone to exert themselves like that for 45 seconds of content. The challenge has really made it feel dehumanizing. Felt like a parody of MrBeast. I felt like the homeless guy they could exploit. I felt like if Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. Today, I held Jeff Bezos' GIMP hostage. Yeah, it's really terrible. And Jimmy did exactly what we thought at the beginning. Can't he just stay for another 10 days? Part of me wants all the footage burned, and part of me thinks that there's a great horror cut in there. LMAO, he was so fake when he came in and said he cared about my mental health. Love that for him. They must have programmed the care about mental health update. He said, we also don't want you to and I swear to our Lord and Savior, he stopped himself from saying Sue. All this is absolutely terrible. To drive one of your employees to the point where it crashes their physical and mental health, just imagine what happens to normal subscribers and normal contestants that aren't employees. Now, away from all the mistreatment, there's this one screenshot that I'd like to read out, and it says, MrBeast leaving behind trash and debris at film site in Aden, NC. I live around MrBeast area and have been hearing lots of talk about him leaving trash and debris behind at his previous filming location. I know someone very closely who works at the camp where he filmed a few of his last videos that featured destruction and some explosions. Apparently, he left a large boat in the pond as well as debris around the film site and the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks after the agreed time frame. This actually rendered it unsafe for campers and almost delayed the camp's opening date multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with MrBeast to get the stuff cleaned up and out of the area. Eventually, the boat and most of the debris was removed after constantly asking him when/if he would come out to clean it up. There are still lots of items that can be found at the bottom of the pond if you dive. This has kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, as the camp is a Christian organization and asks for no money or publicity, and also aren't the type to say anything negative about the experience publicly. I know personally that this caused lots of stress on staff leaders and the owners of the camp, and was mostly a negative experience for them. I guess I'm curious if anyone else has heard about this, /knows about this, /knows if he has a history of doing this kind of thing. Just seems very unprofessional for someone at his level and with his image. Now, there's one last thing that I'd like to talk about, and that's that there was an alleged sex offender working with MrBeast. Now, this is all alleged, but it is rumored that there was a registered sex offender working with MrBeast, and he would assault children from ages 1 to 11 years old. He would sometimes appear in videos, but he would be masked to keep from destroying the image that MrBeast had, I'm assuming. They nicknamed this man Delaware, and the reasoning is absolutely insane. Because he isn't allowed in the state of Delaware.
The $10,000 prize is still here. Whoever steps out next doesn't get anything, and the other 2 get $5,000 each. Whoever steps out, if Delaware steps out, you 2 get $5,000. Ethan steps out, you 2 get $5,000.
Literally, what kind of sick joke is that supposed to be? I'm literally so disgusted by everything so far, and I really hope that nothing else gets found, or that there's nothing else like behind the scenes going on, because this is already terrible. I didn't mention everything, and I missed out some details, but you can find this in the other videos by Jake and Dawson, which will be linked in the description. They're way more credible, so just check that out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!